Hey, welcome to the reaction to the second reading of Chapter 5 of How to Lose a Planet, the Afro-Future Epic. So with every reaction, you get something true, a storytelling tip, and something I liked. So, something I liked. I actually was digging the dialogue between Lacey and Kata, like the back and forth, not because of the information, but because when I was reading along, I kind of got a sense how they're both tense. Like, Lacey is tense because the situation is crazy and real, and Kato is tense because the situation is too crazy to be real. And so they're both kind of struggling with these realities. And I just kind of like that because when I was reading, it wasn't, in the moment, I wasn't focused on the information so much as how they each felt, which was a unique experience for me. Storytelling tip. Okay, so this one is kind of weird, but telling stories with your entire body. So like I'm up here reading this book and then I'm kind of like looking this way or looking this way when like my mind is kind of like switching from character to character, right? And my brother was talking about how like he likes how whenever I do a video, you can tell I'm not a classically trained or a corporately trained public speaker because I'm not staring at the camera throughout the entire course of the video, which is true. I mean, I do know how to do that. I have been trained to do that, but I'm up here just trying to have fun, which is kind of ultimately my point. But even when I'm sitting at the desk, I'm still telling the story with my whole body. Like sometimes I put on a certain soundtrack to get me in the right mood and I have my ears be a part of the story. Or sometimes I'll wear like a suit if I'm writing about a character who's like kind of uptight, or like a fedora if they're kind of fancy or something like that. Like I'll use my whole body just to get in the mood for telling the story. So I just think that's an interesting tip because actually I'm not the only person who does that. Had some classmates, they told me they would like get dressed up in a certain character, listen to certain music, get in the right mood. So when they sit down and tell a short story, they feel like they're actually in that place or in that time. Like I had a story that was set in the 70s, so I did a whole soundtrack just based on music in the 70s. So I can kind of like immerse my whole body into that scenario and do the best storytelling I could. So let's see, that is something I liked and a tip. Something true. Okay, so there's a scene where Kato is talking about how he's changing his clothes in front of Lacey and he's wondering if she has any idea how awkward it is that this is the first time in a long time he's changed his clothes in front of a woman or got naked in front of a woman, and just like when he's being strip searched in prison, it's ordered. So when I read that, it reminded me of this time when I had a visit when I was locked up, and then after every visit, you get strip searched. So we went in the back, and then the guard was like, no, we're not doing that. So we just stood there for like 5 minutes and like pretend to be strip searched. And it always stayed with me because like, first of all, that guard in particular, in a prison full of guards who were dicks, was actually a pretty cool person. And second of all, it always stayed with me as proof of how, it actually kind of goes back to something I'd written in the first chapter about how nobody really survives prison, like from the inmates to the guards to even like the visitors, like everybody's affected by that. And it just kind of like solidified for me how even the guards are affected by something as insane as people in the cage. So that's the true thing. All right, deuces.